and welcome to today's video. Today I have got no eyeshadow on, which means only one thing, surely. We're trying out an eyeshadow palette. Before you say, Megan, the bandwagon for this one has gone, it's left, it's miles in the distance, no one cares anymore. One, I don't care. And two, I've actually been intentionally waiting, and I know you're going to be like, yeah, okay, whatever, sure. But I've actually intentionally been waiting for the storm to blow over about the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe Vault. I know there was a lot of formula issues. I haven't even, I think I've swatched like 3 shadows in this entire vault, and that's just because curiosity like killed the cat of me. I really wanted to swatch them. She released the brushes and I did a whole review on the brushes. I still use them now. I actually really like these brushes. The box is beautiful. I'm dropping them all everywhere apparently. I really like these brushes. I don't think they're necessarily worth it for the price tag. I did a whole review on that, so if you want to check that out then I'll link it up here or link it down below. You'll see probably the eye flash up right now, so you know, you can click it if you want after this video. See that review if you want. So yeah, with that one I thought they were quite expensive, but overall the quality was beautiful and they performed very well, so I still use them. The Vault, however, I feel like had a lot more controversy over this one. The formula apparently wasn't great. There was a lot of people saying they didn't like it, a lot of people saying they'd returned it. Then Jaclyn was making a massive video saying she didn't have any returns, or only 5% of people did return it. So I kind of didn't want, it's a shame actually, it's a shame the controversy was there, because I was actually really excited for this Vault collection. I don't personally own the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, the big one, just because I don't like to buy massive palettes unless I see full potential of me using it, and I feel like that palette just wasn't for me personally. I'm not saying it's a horrible palette, I think it was a beautiful palette, it just wasn't for me personally. So I was really excited for the Vault, so I've bought it. I can't remember how much it retails for, but I will put it down below and I'll link it down below as well if you're interested. It is still on sale. But yeah, today I feel like I'm wearing a mustard top. I feel like I'm always wearing mustard tops, but I'm not really too sure if we're in autumn or winter right now. The leaves reflect autumn, but the weather reflects winter, so I'm not really too sure. So yeah, I've actually only swatched literally like 3 or 4 shadows out the whole Vault, because I really wanted to give a good first impression, and more than anything I didn't really want to give a review because there is so much out there already. I just wanted to play with them. So yeah, today I feel like I'm going to play with some like mustardy tones perhaps to go with my jumper. So the 2 that I could potentially play with is the Armed and Gorgeous, which I feel like is the palette I'll probably play with today just because I'm feeling that vibe. Or there's Ring the Alarm, which is a bit more red and orange toned. So I think I'm going to go in with the Armed and Gorgeous palette just because I feel like these mustard pukey tones are screaming my name. If this palette works out for me today, I do want to do other videos and other looks with these palettes just because they are still available, and I do think personally they are beautiful colours. So if they do work for me, then I will be doing other videos with the other palettes, because why not, girl? Why not? I will be using the Jaclyn Hill Morphe brushes today as well, just because they're to the left of me and it's convenient, so you know, can't really be bothered to go dirty some more brushes up. By the way, these brushes are clean. I have just cleaned them with the makeup brush cleanser, yeah, by B Cosmetics. So if they do look a bit stained and a bit worse for wear, they have got no product on them. They're just a little bit loved. Okay, so getting a little bit closer, this is what the palette looks like up close. I think it's really beautiful, and especially in springtime, I really see me using this if the formula works out for me, because it's just like springtime-ish colours, but also it's like autumn colours as well. It just has like that mustard but fresh tone to it. I don't know, I just really like this palette. All the palettes do have mirrors in, as I'm sure you're probably aware if you're looking at this video. You've probably seen other videos on the Jaclyn Hill Vault. But I'm going to go in with the JH30 and go into the shade Access, which is this like orangey mustardy colour, and just plop it through my crease. It's funny because James Charles has just released a Morphe collaboration with Morphe, with a palette and a brush set. And Jaclyn Hill reviewed the palette, which I think does look gorgeous. I have seen it done before. I think I do have those colours in my collection, but I'll probably be picking it up. It kind of looks beautiful. And she said in that review, which it didn't shock me at all, but it just made me laugh a little bit because she's had so much controversy around her. I'm surprised she put herself in that position to say it. But she basically said, oh, I'm going to use the shades that James is probably nervous for people to use on camera, you know, the tricky shades. And she was saying that she was nervous for people to use tricky shades because she said when she saw people using her palettes and saw them using particular shades, she'd be like, oh no, don't use that, that's a tricky shade. And I was like, Jaclyn, you've literally had so much controversy over the formulation being different on all these shadows. Don't admit it. Like, Oh, honestly, it did make me laugh. Obviously purples and greens, like olive greens and deep true purples, are more difficult to formulate. I don't know why. Obviously I've never formulated makeup before, but they have been sort of talked about being much more difficult to formulate. So I'm not saying just hers are really bad or Morphe's are just really bad, but it did make me laugh. I just thought, don't let yourself out to the slaughter by saying some of your shades are bad. Just don't say it at all. Okay, so first shade in, this is looking beautiful. It's blended out beautifully. It's actually a really, really nice shade. I didn't have anything else on my lids, like no primer. I just literally had concealer and my foundation set with powder, so I've just had a set base, just usually what I'd normally do. I don't really need this to last particularly too long. And with this JH31, which is like a small fluffy blending brush, I'm going to go into the shade Secure, which is this lovely orange shade. It's like a step down from the Access shade. I feel like these two are quite similar. This one's a bit more brown toned, this is one a bit more like orange toned. Let me just swatch them both for you. Like, I'll be honest, I don't really know why she went to put two of these shades in one palette. Personally, I wouldn't have done that. But I feel like these shades are very, very, very similar, and there was just like, I feel like there's another opportunity to put another green in there or something instead of two shades that are so, like literally a hair off of each other. This one is a bit more brown and this one's a bit more orange, but in my personal opinion that wasn't really worth it. So I'm going to go into that Secure shade with the fluffy blending brush and just run this through my crease. I'm not going to try and smoke out too much, I just want to add depth into the crease before we put anything else down. So far it looks like they're blending really nicely into each other, so no problems as of yet. I definitely want to incorporate this lovely green here. It's like a leaf green. I really, really love that. I'm really obsessed with greens. And this is called Top Secret. So I'm going to go in with this JH40 brush, which actually is one of my favourite brushes from the whole collection because it's so unique and just so small and beautiful. I want to just load that up on the brush. I think I'm going to plop this on the outer corners first and just see how it blends. Because this is quite a dark colour, I'm literally just picking up the smallest amount and working it in, and I should do that with any shadows. I'm not treating these shadows any differently of how I'd treat any other shadow because, I don't know, I feel like just because there's a lot of controversy around it, you shouldn't have to try and find something wrong. I'm just using it as I would any other shadow, and if something does happen that's weird, then I will say. I feel like there's nothing wrong with that shadow at all. I don't know particularly the ones that were supposed to be really bad, but I know that a few people had a problem with this green. I, for one, don't see anything dramatically wrong with it. I definitely want to use one of these shimmers on my eyes. I just don't know which one I want to use. All the shimmers are very different, to be fair. We have got quite a few variants of shades. We've got like a very dark sort of yellowy, like dirty gold. We then got quite a goldy gold, and then there's a very light, I don't know, like a wheaty yellowy sandy colour, and then this bright white. That's one swipe there, and I think they are absolutely beautiful. Pigmentation looks lovely. I think I'm going to go with this bright gold just because it's screaming my name, and then maybe perhaps blend it out with this like wheaty orangey yellow colour because that's really pretty as well. I'm going to go into that shade Coin there, which was the bright yellowy gold. I'm going to go in with a flat brush, just dry, and just see how it applies. It's definitely applying. It's pretty. I can feel it falling out of my face a little bit just as I apply it dry, but that's nothing that I'm not used to with other palettes. I mean, it's pretty. I feel like you're going to get a nice wash of colour, and if you just wanted to place this over top another shadow, and you just wanted to like add a pop to something, then applying it dry is absolutely fine, but I want it to look a little bit more metallic and a little bit more like boom in your face. So I'm going to load up the brush and then just spray it. This is just literally a hydrating spray from Primark. I'm actually really liking it at the moment. And then I want to see what it looks like wet. Oh, see, that's beautiful. That's really applied, really metallic. Oh no, I want that all over my eyes, I've decided. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a unique shade by any means, but I feel like there's so much makeup out there, no shade is unique. It's all about the placement of colours that looks unique. But that's really pretty. That's applied beautifully and not patchy at all. I really, really like that shade. It's beautiful. Obviously, I am aware that we've lost some of the green, but we're going to put some of that back in a second. I'm going to go in with the JH33, which is kind of like this slim, I don't know if you can actually see that. It's like a slim blending brush. And I want to go into the shade Smooth Criminal. And I kind of want to go over the green that we placed earlier and just kind of start it in the outer corner and just really work it on top of the crease a little bit. Just want to add a little bit of depth on top of that lovely gold shimmery colour. Once again, this shade is performing absolutely fine. Nothing out of the ordinary. I'm just going to touch the shade Secure with a fluffy blending brush and just kind of go over the top of the brow bony sort of blending area that we're going in. just kind of reinforce the orangeness of it. I'm going to go into the shade Classified and literally just dab this kind of between the area where I had that green and the gold. I just want to add like another layer of different shimmer. You might not be able to see this by the end, but I just want to try out all the shades if I can. I'm getting quite a lot of fallout with this shade. I don't know if you can see it on my cheek at all. I might not be able to, but I'm getting quite a lot of fallout with this one, but that's okay. It's a dark shimmer. I do get a lot of fallout with a lot of dark shimmers. I'm now going to go back into that green shade with the small JH40 brush and just literally stipple the green on. I don't want to really swish it around too much because I don't want to lose the other colours. I just want to stipple that green back where we put it originally, just in the outer corner, just kind of like pushing it in. I will say that these shadows do kind of transfer a little bit, like the glitteriness of them, because obviously they're pressed differently. They have travelled a little bit across my face and across my eyes. I'm going to dip into that shade Agent, which was a little bit like the Secure shade, but we haven't used this one yet. It's a little bit more brown toned, like I said. And I'm just going to run this on the lower lash line and kind of just join it up with what we've done at the top. Again, this shade is performing really nicely. It's blending out really well. And on this small pencil brush, the JH39, it's like a really dinky pencil brush, I love it. I'm going to go into the shade Prowl, which we haven't used yet. This is quite a dark shade. I don't know what it's like swatched. Oh, it's absolutely fine swatched, just looks like any other normal dark shade. I'm just going to smudge this as close as I can to the lower lash line and just kind of smoke it out a little bit. I actually don't want to drag it all the way across my eye, I just want to keep it to the outer corner, just like so. And then I'm going to go into the shade Access again with this JH36 and literally just smoke this really far down my lower lash line here. I'm just going to take a smidgen of the green Top Secret shade and just smudge this on the outermost corner of my lower lash line, just so there's like a hint of green there. And I think I've dipped into all of the shades apart from this VIP shade. I just want to go into this white shade. I don't think it has any other reflex apart from just white, so I'm going to pop this in the inner corners, just over like that little bit of highlight that I already had, just to give an extra pop. Again, this is laying down really nicely as well. Okay, so I think I'm done, so I'm going to apply some mascara off camera and then I'll check back in with you in a sec. Okay, so this is my look that I've created with the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill Armed and Gorgeous Vault Collection palette. I actually personally really love these. I think these all blended out beautifully. I think they're all applied beautifully. Personally, I actually only have two negative things to say about this palette, and it's not because it's a Jaclyn Hill or Morphe palette at all. The first thing is I do get a little bit of fallout under the eyes on some of the shades. It's not a massive thing for me. Personally, fallout is just one of those things where some palettes do have a bit of fallout, some palettes don't. Jeffree Star formulas for me don't have fallout. Morphe formulas do. Urban Decay formulas do. It's not a big deal for me. You just got to learn what has and what hasn't. So now that I know that these might have a bit of fallout, the next palettes that I use, I'll probably do my base makeup afterwards. It's not a big deal for me. I don't mind a little bit of fallout. It's just learning what has fallout, what isn't. And to be honest, the fallout that I did get wasn't even horrendous. It was just like normal shadow fallout that I would get with any other palette, so that's like one negative, but it's not really a negative, it's just something like a pre-warning. I also really love the colour section of this palette. I think it's beautiful. I think it's very fresh, autumnal and springy at the same time. You don't have to use all the shades that I use. Obviously you can create something really nice fresh with just like the white and a couple of the oranges, something really sort of poppy and beautiful and very simple. The other kind of negative point I have to make is that I think that Spectre and Agent are a little bit too similar to be in the same palette. Personally for me, I just don't like shades that are like literally one hair off of each other being the same shade. I just feel like these two shades are a little bit too similar. If she'd put one of the other shades in another palette, I wouldn't have minded that because I think it's a different colour family, but that's just the only other negative thing I have to say. Apart from that, I actually really liked playing with these. I think they blended beautifully. So yeah, I don't mind these shadows at all. I think this is really nice. So I'm actually really looking forward to playing around with the rest of the vault. I thought I'd just give you a close-up of what the shadows look like up close. Personally, this distance for me, I feel like anyone was any closer to my eyes than this, then I'd be like, get out of my face, like you're in my bubble. So I feel like this distance is an appropriate distance to show you the eyeshadow. As you can see, like I did say earlier, the gold metallic shade, because it is a little bit flaky, not flaky in a bad way, just because it's so glittery and iridescent and just so like metallic and sheeny. It did spread a little bit across the other bits of the eyeshadow, so I feel like that is dominating quite a lot of the eye look, but I'm not actually mad at it. I do like a lot of shimmer. I did apply it quite heavily, so maybe that was my fault for putting too much on my eyes, but I feel like you can see the separation of all the different colours and they've blended together really nicely, so I really like it. I don't have a fault to say about this, to be honest. So yeah, that is it. If you've enjoyed today's video, please do not hesitate to give me a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and ring the bell so that you can see my videos every week. I upload twice a week. I try to upload every Saturday and Wednesday. I'm having a little bit of like a quarterly life crisis at the moment, so sorry that my uploads have been a little bit inconsistent, but I am trying so hard to do it on my Saturdays and Wednesdays, even if it is up late. I am trying my hardest. I'm not being lazy. I am trying really hard, so sorry that it's been a little bit inconsistent lately. Because I enjoyed working with this palette today, I will be working with like one of the other palettes I think in the upcoming future, just because I like to play around with colour and I like to experiment with different palettes. So if you'd like to see a particular palette or a particular look, just pop that down in the comments, but otherwise I'm just going to pick a random palette and just do a look like I did today. So yeah, hopefully this has been a bit more of an uplifting experience or tutorial or just a little conversation about the Vault. Mine did actually say V1 on the packaging, so I really don't think that meant anything, because I actually really like the look I've created today and I think they worked really beautifully. Obviously I haven't used the other 3 palettes, so I could have just been really lucky and chosen the only one that worked. But yeah, like I said, I'm really looking forward to playing around with these in the future. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye! Only one thing, and excuse me, I'm trying to work. Drink my tea, girl. Okay, so where to begin? Where is my brush wash? Where is my brush wash? I definitely want to incorporate. Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Oh, I feel like I need powder because my face is getting sweaty. But where's my mirror? I'm losing everything today. One thing, enjoyed the